you feel like you're getting settled in?
Slowly but surely, I am. I feel like I've been here a lot longer than a month, I'll tell you that, and I was gone for a week. Everybody tells me I'm catching on pretty quickly, so that's a good thing. I don't know if that's for real or if they're just trying to make me feel good. But no, it's going really well. Now that we've gotten through a bunch of deadlines there at the very beginning, maybe I settle in a little bit more now.
I've never heard Julie Baker.
I was able to talk to Odessa, and they hard copies to me for them. Just got them today. So we were able to get all of that for the auditor. And I was able to get in the relation to Ozarks. Was able to get that audit. So we're ready for a meeting.
Well, I'm going to assume that since you were back, your term is up.
Who are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Really?
Keeping cool.
I mean,
And I'm assuming
It's a pretty big job.
I like to keep me on your toes.
Hi, everybody.
yeah.
I wasn't sure if wearing masks or not wearing masks. No.
Sure.
Oh, well, last time everybody had masks and
Those are my glasses.
we're socially distanced. Are you okay with me not wearing my mask?
I'm okay with it.
Okay.
We made sure everybody was 6
I'm
feet.
wearing mine, it's just like I have kids who are not.
I'm almost got the ladies fighting them.
The likelihood that they're getting exposed is a lot higher.
See everybody. That's great to see them close by.
Just in case I'm.
Nothing against you.
I understand.
Listen. Take looks.
See, that's.
Yeah.
I'm not in health. Even if
That's
I'm
where my
very.
granddaughters are.
I know that matters.
And now the oldest.
The typical like. It's always.
Oh, no.
But then.
Well, you, I shouldn't say that. I know how you.
My sister had it,
It's really.
her daughter had it, and her 2 children had it, and her husband had it. The 2 kids and females just had it. Wasn't mad. Her husband was so sick. It just knocked him down. He was sick for quite a while.
My grandma had just. She was 3 or 4 weeks. Take my track. And she stayed home for no. For following her every day. She got her at home by herself. She was lonely, but that was the worst of it. A month later, we asked her about it. And she said, oh, you need that. What did she say? She said something like, that's got a headache. I slept all day and all night. But I've never had a headache like that before.
Well,
And it may just be a place.
I've never seen that.
Well, and we probably.
John, would you like chocolate chip or some of the other, or couple of each?
Okay, I'll need to hand that.
We'll get some more.
Who's your mascot?
I found him in the story time.
The man, I don't care what. name.
Okay.
For those of you that came in a little late, on your mileage sheet, make sure that you put the work retreat on there. Even if there's not a line, just write it in. And we make sure that we.
Hey, I can't hear you.
First, so
Okay. Well, I noticed that I did it. But I will not be here.
Oh,
Oh,
well, and we would have to.
well, I mean, it's, I'm
Okay. That be okay? Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
we have to vote on
It really, I don't think it needs a vote because. It's already.
it. I know I read
It's nice to have a refresher on those every so often. I have to refer to them very often.
So then I may be excused.
There is no.
I know, there is no excuse for me, right?
okay, I will call the meeting to order. 2 minutes after 7.
I'll tell you after.
Would you like the roll call to?
Hang on.
Okay.
I gotta see what I'm supposed to do. Oh. Okay, roll call. Janet Brookshire,
Present.
Vern Deckard,
Present.
Carlin Dillon,
Here.
Sandy Hickey.
Here.
She's virtual.
Oh, okay. Nice to know. Richard Jarman,
Here.
Ron McMullen,
Here.
Tyler Walter,
Here.
and Scotty Walker.
Here.
So, all board members at this time are present.
Do you have any public comments?
Luke?
David,
All right.
wait,
So I'm watching the stream. I can't hear you guys in real time. I have a delay.
Okay.
Okay.
My public comment is early.
I found it in the story time room. I thought it was cute.
Okay, just curious.
You know, I hate dogs.
Well, this one doesn't poop.
I don't
Doesn't
care.
bite, doesn't
I
smell.
don't care. I hate dogs. If it moved, I'd have hit it with my.
I'll protect you, I promise.
All right, we're on to the consent agenda. Have any questions?
I did have just kind of a, from the financial report, Carlin, thank you, Carlin, she found a mistake. In the transaction detail by account. Financial report is towards the end. The debt services account shows 3 bank drafts to UNB. This is an error. It is an error on paper, didn't actually pay that 3 times. It just got input QuickBooks 3 times. So Karen will correct that and it should be reflected in next month's statement for you.
Okay, are there any other discussion on?
I move that we approve the consent agenda as corrected.
I second.
Right, we have a second by George Thurman. Motion by George Thurman, second by Dan Workshop. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Dan Brookshire. Vern Deathridge.
Yes.
Harlan Dillon.
Yes.
Andy Henke.
Yes.
Richard Jarman.
Yes.
Ron McMullen. Tyler, yes. Walter.
Yes.
Scotty Walker.
Yes.
Motion passed, 9 and no nays.
Finished business. So we have 2 applications for rebate.
I don't have a copy of Ann's application. No.
Is it not?
Oh, it's in my packet, sure. I
Oh.
have Sandy's and that's why I was asking.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'll just put it in the packet. I didn't put it.
I'm from Lafayette County, and I've been talking to different people. The 2 members have been raised. So I'm nominating Kathy Thompson, board member, Lafayette County.
Second that.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion by Ron, second by Judy, and I do.
Yes.
Walter. Is there any discussion?
Yes, thank you. I certainly have not meant to step on anybody's toes, but I think it's important for us to note that we waited several months hoping that someone would bring a candidate in from Lafayette County. I spoke with someone who was interested, but I did not have her apply until the time that you asked me about her. I had her to apply, and it seems to me, and I could be wrong, but it seems to me that her name and candidacy were withdrawn arbitrarily from contention for this position. I just wanted to remind everybody, we work for the public. We spend public money. And every person who is in this library system has an opportunity to serve on this board. The only requirement is that they be from the right county. For someone to take her name out of contention was not right. And it's left us looking so bad to that person. And I just wanted to say how much I regret having brought a name forward.
Are they not in the packet at all?
It's in the packet this time. We've had it for probably the last 3 meetings, maybe. And it was removed last time.
We have discussed about the candidate?
I beg your pardon?
Did we have discussion about the other candidate?
You have a motion on the table for the nomination, and this is kind of the discussion on that motion.
We did not.
When you say taking out of consent,
I mean that her application was removed. It was there to be voted upon, and you said, I'm going to table this for a while. And you did.
it was brought up in the last meeting to table it to this meeting.
It was brought up.
It wasn't, there was no motion. Only motion was to put it at this meeting.
I don't believe that that's what I understood, but if that's your opinion, I'm okay with.
No, but if-
That's what happened,
There was
yeah.
a motion made to bring this up at this meeting.
There was a motion made, there was a motion made to allow time for another candidate. But listen, I don't really care which candidate we choose. I'm concerned about the process. And I'm concerned about how long we had that candidate and chose not to vote on her. And as I say, it's not an issue for me if we choose somebody or if you like somebody better. But I think we've been very, very rude to her. And we've had her application for quite some time.
I don't remember seeing this person's information in the packet.
It was not.
It was not in the packet.
No,
So this is, from my knowledge, this is the first time this candidate has been.
right, but we've had it for the last, counting this meeting, we've had it for 3 meetings.
And I didn't put the last packet together, so I don't know.
Right, no, that's,
When I went to look for it, I did not have a copy of it, but I don't know. But it really should have been brought forward at the last meeting, is
Should
what
have.
George was saying, for it to be voted on. And then I think Ron said he had someone in mind, they just hadn't got their application. So then the motion was to table it, to bring the applicants to this meeting. Is that right? That's how I remember it.
Well, her name was the first time submitted. I believe we had 2 applications at that time. And they voted to shelf them. They said we were going to put them back because another board member said they had some other people that were going to apply. And they wanted to wait on that person. So we waited. But then in the shuffle, her application, and I don't really remember the other application, but they got left out. They were not submitted.
back to the point, we're right now discussing a vote on packet without having talked at all about the other.
That's right.
And that was the motion on the table. You have a second. So now discussion.
But we all had an opportunity to review them.
Right.
We haven't considered them.
And for the sake of discussion, I was hoping to hear discussion on both candidates before I vote on, because I see merit in both.
Well, it was.
We would typically talk about them.
So I maybe I'm a little rusty on. I don't want to vote yet because I want to have a discussion on both candidates. Do I vote no on this motion for the discussion?
So did you know if that discussing both candidates could be part of the discussion from that motion, or did it need to be voted on first?
And the motion to
Nominate
To
Kathy.
nominate Kathy Thompson.
And you can withdraw your motion. I'm just offering that to you.
The way I see it, I think it would be relevant if we wanted to talk about other things that I don't want to overstep. I don't have Robert's rules, so I'm not sure.
All right, well, then I'm just gonna say, looking at Anne's document, I really appreciate what she has to say about, board representation from Odessa being a priority, which obviously both candidates are from Odessa, but her framing of that statement sounds egalitarian, sounds motivated to be a contributing member of the board. What was the other thing that I liked about her? I didn't write my notes down. I kind of sense a kindred spirit to myself in that she's from elsewhere and she's newer to the community and trying to get involved. In my experience, folks who are coming from outside trying to find their way in have the current community in mind. In my experience, community is sometimes hard to wiggle your way into when you're from outside. So if she's willing to put in the time, I think there's a lot of benefits to that.
You know, I've been on the board for several years. We've always had new board members nominated, always the counties that nominate, well, you know, who they wanted. And everybody else, you know, we didn't really, we just voted for who they brought in, who the county wanted. We didn't just let other county, you know, Lafayette County didn't bring in somebody from this county, Johnson County and things. Basically those, you know, for years, each county has pretty well brought in the people they want to push and they wanted on board.
My response to that would be, you all represent the entire system, so I don't really matter who brings it forward as long, because the only requirement is that you have 5 from each county. And so truly, it should be advertised publicly so that everyone would have an opportunity to apply if they so chose. I'm not sure if that's how it's going to
But that, you say more advertised than the branches.
Oh, okay, okay. And then essentially, when you have board meeting, whatever applications that you have, that's your application. Unless you don't find someone that is suitable in that pool, then you would go back. It's almost like when you are hiring someone. So if you don't have someone suitable, then you would go back. So I think we have, I mean, I agree with Georgia. I think there's some issues with the process that we probably need to take a look at. Sure.
I'm just going to say one thing. It says board representation from Odessa is non-existent. But that's only been, how long has it been since Joe and Tiger said
I think what the point is at that time,
Oh, when she was writing that.
When she was writing
that,
But there's always been somebody.
Well, we've always had somebody.
There's always been.
But somebody new like her or myself, we don't have that context. We're looking at the
I'm just saying, I want the board, you know, that it's not as if Odessa has always been overlooked. Odessa has always been represented.
And both of these candidates are from Odessa, so that ends up being.
Well, I think we should go ahead and vote. We got a motion and a second, the nomination and a second. We don't vote it through, fine. I think we should. All right.
I would probably ask if there's any other discussion.
So is there any other discussion? Judy, can we have a roll call vote?
Shannon Brookshire,
No.
Martin Etheridge,
Yes.
Harlan Zillen,
No.
Sandy Hinky,
Yes.
Richard Jarman,
No.
Ron McMullen,
Yes.
Judy Tyler. Yes. Judy Walter
Yes.
and Scotty Walker. No. would not be submitting a tying vote.
No.
Okay, the noes have it. There are, no. The ayes have it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 4 noes. The motion passed.
Okay. I will get a letter over to you. Or
Do you need me to draft?
I've got a copy.
Okay, all right, and, you wanna send both applicants over?
Send what?
Both applications. Send all applicants.
Anybody want cookies?
Yeah, because the letter tells.
Good thing.
I guess it meant.
So the letter that you say, who the board recommends, supposed to send all that. Along with that letter, with the letter. That makes sense. And I can either forward those or do it same time as the letter.
Just forward. All right. Okay, so we have this.
This would be the public hearing, so I'm assuming you would open it up for public comment. The tax levy.
Jackie,
Yes.
I cannot hear you down here.
I'm
This
so
air
sorry.
conditioner's running and I just cannot hear.
Okay, I will try to talk louder and better.
Thank you.
And if I stop, just remind me. So this would be time when you do the public hearing for the tax levy. So we're looking at the tax levy set at 0.2562. So that would be the tax rate to be levied for the year. And then after the public hearing portion, then there would need to be a vote on whether tax rate. If you do, I'll need Scotty to sign the paperwork.
What was the tax levy?
It is, 0.2562.
Right, but what has it been this past year, not 2022, but 2020? I'm probably in here and
I do not have that information. What I have is just pertaining to this year. I think it's gone up just a tad or the same. I'm pretty sure it was 0.25 something. So it's pretty close.
okay.
Seems like last year we raised it point something, a tenth, I think. Didn't swear to it.
This vote is the maximum that we're allowed.
We're allowed up to 30 cents, but with the hand pocket, you generally have to roll that back.
It's just all the time.
But we don't know what it was last year.
I don't have it in. I think it was very close to what it was this year.
I think so.
That will really vary a lot more.
We get any public comments?
They want to just say.
I wonder if we should have somebody type in that we're open for public comments, because Billy just sent me a message that he cannot hear us.
Okay.
He's watching.
Hey, Luke?
So if we set this levy in, we don't really know what last year's was to know if it's going to be anywhere near the same or.
I think it's really
It's,
close.
it's very close. I do know that. I don't know the exact, I can't exact. Um, But like prior tax year, so we were looking at, 1,000,007, wait, sorry, the assessed valuation. So it's very similar to this year. So, and that, of course, the 0.2562 is per $100 of valuation. So it really is going to stay pretty steady unless you have a lot of growth in your area or you have a lot of decline in your property taxes.
So we're now open as a public hearing for the levy hearing. Andy, is your hand raised for a question?
I have a question.
Sure.
Since everything, everybody's costs are going up and everything, what's the chance that you can, raise that levy by, a few hundredths of a percent? Can you, I don't really understand that really well, so you'll have to help me. But is there any way that we can, raise it a tiny, tiny bit and, get a little extra since everything in the world is costing more today and it's going to cost us more to run the libraries in the next year because of all the supply chain issues and all of that?
So I'll try to explain it to you. It is a little complicated. So the tax levy is voted on by the voters. So at what year it was voted in that 30 cents would be our tax levy. But due to the Hancock Amendment, that has to be rolled back. And we get a pro forma from the state auditor's office, which is based on numbers that the Lafayette and Johnson County clerks provided for auditors. I guess they're auditors.
That's one.
And so according to the state auditor's office, this is the maximum that we can levy due to the Hancock Amendment.
Without another vote.
Yes, without having to take it back to the tax, to the taxpayers and actually doing,
I believe that everyone's taxes, the assessment was larger this year coming up. So we've already got a little increase built in there.
with the valuation of the property. Yes.
Okay, that's true. Yeah, when the assessment goes up, our taxes go up.
Does that help any at all, Sandy? I know
Yes.
it's kind of hard to
I just wasn't sure. I didn't know how that all the rollback works and just making sure we stay on top of what we, need to do to stay, viable.
Definitely. Good question.
I'm told we have a public comment.
It was a comment from Anita talking about the Hancock Amendment, and Jackie covered what she was saying, that it can't go up past that amount due to Hancock.
Got it right.
A lot of stuff, isn't it?
It is.
So in other words, I mean, this is it,
Right. You can go backwards
but
if
not.
you choose to, but you cannot go past this because this is kind of set. And then even once we put this form in, it could still change at the auditors, the state auditor.
Do we need to do anything?
If there's no public comments from the hearing, then the board would just need to vote to approve the amounts to be levied, the taxes to be.
I make a motion that we approve the amount we know.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Can you read the amount of the levy? The number?
Yes, it is 0.2562 tax rate to be levied.
We have a motion and a second to approve that amount of the levy. Any other discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Nana Brookshire,
Yes.
Lauren Etheridge,
Yes.
Harlan Dillon,
Yes.
Sandy Henke,
Yes.
Georgia Jarman,
Yes.
Von McMullen,
Yes.
Tyler, yes. Judy Walter,
Yes.
Scotty Walker.
Yes.
Motion passed, 9-8. Yes, no.
All right, thank you. Okay. Next up is the final 22 budget.
You had the budget narrative for board packet. So it had everything broken down for you. So on the third page, labeled amendments to the draft budget. So those are all the changes that were made when you approved the draft budget. This budget we're presenting tonight. So I hopefully can answer any questions, or I can, if the board chooses, I can run through those really quickly. It is whatever the board chooses.
I have a question. So, discovered there was $62,000 was for base items. And then the salaries were lowered by 50,000, AV materials were 4,500, books by 7,500. Were those lowered?
Yes. We had to make cuts. You would have to ask the branch managers because I'm not on the front line, so I am not sure.
I use them.
Do you? Okay, good. Well,
They're, the times that I'm here, there aren't other people checking out, so I've not seen other people do it. My kids love it. I love being able to scan their own.
it's really fun.
Was it just,
It disturbs me that we're cutting books and materials that were broken.
But it's not something that you can go back in time and get rid of.
No.
The equipment is installed, and you're not gonna get.
This board was misled. We weren't told that we were buying, robot checkout. We were buying barcodes by the previous director. And I don't know, I come to the library with books, not to use a self-checkout. I know it's already done built.
Yeah, it's done.
As far as the salary, we did have a little bit of wiggle room in there. I know Jana had asked me this prior to the meeting. We did have a little bit of wiggle room in there, so that's what's not going to affect anybody's salary. We had assistant director vacancy, so that saves us a little bit. So we still have just a little bit of wiggle room. On that.
Jackie, I had a question.
Yeah.
Was it just a oversight that they weren't paid, or, because I know we've paid, it seems like every month, some kind of payment went out to Biblo, whatever the name of this company is.
I think due to COVID, they were kind of late getting the invoices to us, so we just got them. So technical services alerted me and Anita that this needed to go in the budget, like this has to be paid. And so, yes, it was an oversight. I'm thinking on the tech's part, because I don't think this is getting it. So it was gonna be a huge impact to the budget, obviously. So they wanted to make sure that Anita and I were aware of it as soon as possible so that we could make the cuts where we need to make adjustments.
I have a,
'Cause
excuse
I
me,
had,
a question. I'm having trouble hearing you too or hearing Mr. Walker at the end of the table there.
Go ahead.
But my question is on that, that we just got those 3 unpaid invoices. Is there any way that you can ask them for the whole to review the last year since, Jackie, since you're new, and just to make sure, I know in the past of my past experiences, sometimes it's better to request those old invoices just to make sure they could have had a change of personnel and just different things that could have fit into that with all the COVID and everything. I just think it would be nice if we could see that whole year's worth of invoices just to make sure that we do really owe that. I don't know if that's right or not, but it's just my thoughts, and I'm new, so I'm asking lots of questions.
I can certainly take a look with our tech services manager, I think is what his title is, and actually take a look at those invoices just to double check before we pay those. I mean,
it's just a large amount of money.
Yes, I can certainly.
Well, I thought when Tanya was still here, I thought we paid the last payment then of $62,000. And just before she left, they still weren't all the way working because they were waiting on some kind of part because of the credit card thing not working. And we were waiting on that, and because I remember Scotty making the comment that we completely paid for them, and now they're still not working.
Oh, if
So
things are working, we shouldn't be paying for it.
I will make note, I will double check before we actually, I don't believe the payment has been made yet, because it had to be the amended budget, so.
Okay.
I was under the impression that they were covered mostly by grants.
Johnson County, I think, was, but not Lafayette.
You're telling me that all these bills that we're paying, outstanding bills from them, and what we've already paid is just for Lafayette? I mean, we've got a couple libraries up there that probably don't even have any.
I don't think Porter has one. I don't think Waverly,
Probably Waverly either.
but I really don't see a necessity of
Where
having.
would records of those invoices be?
We have all of that, yep, in our finances, and we have to keep all that for audit. And so it'd
That's
be very
something the
easy.
office can do.
Yes, it would be very easy for me to ask for those invoices and go through them to make sure that we're not overpaying. Because if Tanya didn't pay this, I mean, that sounds like maybe it was paid the 62,000 before Tanya left, but it may have not gotten paid in the transition. So I will make sure and double check.
I think it was
That'd be great.
the last meeting she was in.
That would have been February, March, maybe.
That's just a very large amount of money, and I would think we could trace that back. We could, and even ask them to send us, those people, if they want their money, they're going to send us a copy of everything we paid them for the last year. But if it's not working, we need to make sure that things are working before we even paid them. I don't know what this Biblio thing is, but I just feel like it's a lot of money, and we just need to double check everything there.
I will certainly do that, and then I can send an email out just to let everybody know.
I think that's great.
And if you could, in that email, once you checked everything, let us know what the how much we're finally ending up paying.
Okay.
And the grant that Johnson County received for them.
The grant was supposed to be $67,000.
That's what they were supposed to basically.
But the total cost was somewhere around, it was a little over $200,000, I thought.
I didn't realize it was that high. I thought that was for the cookie bill.
Oh, that was 300,000.
I'll make sure to do that for you in the same.
Is there on the table, are we ready for something?
We're still just discussing, so if we have any more discussion, then we can to accept it.
I move to accept the budget as.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion by Jana, second by Georgia. Is there any other discussion? Roll call vote, Judy.
Brookshire,
Yes.
Aaron Etheridge. I'm gonna get you now, guys, to my mind here. Carla Dillon,
Yes.
Sandy Hinkle,
Yes.
Georgia Jarman,
Yes.
Ron McMullen,
Yes.
Tyler, yes, Judy Walter,
Yes.
Scotty Walker.
Yes.
Motion passed, 9, yes, no, no.
All right. Board ethics.
So this is a statement that's required by the Missouri Ethics Commission, and you have to update it every 2 years. So this is essentially the same statement that was adopted in 2019. And so I just, if you're willing to keep the same statement, I don't see any reason for you not to. Then you can use the same one and approve that, and then I'll need Scotty's signature. You have to have some statement as a requirement, so.
Are these the 2 pages in the booklet following the budget? That's the ethics statement?
Yes, so it says Trails Regional Library at the top, and
And
then
then RSMO?
has like 13. So it's essentially a statement on conflict of interest and just saying that you won't do any of those 13 things. Board members won't do those 13 ways that it could be a conflict of interest.
Excuse me.
Was there?
I think I was just still explaining.
Move we approve the,
Second.
All right, motion by Ron McMullen, second by Jenna.
Steve.
All right. To approve the ethics statement. Roll call vote, Judy.
Janet Brookshire,
Yes.
Aaron Etheridge,
Yes.
Harlan Dillon,
Yes.
Sandy Hinkle,
Yes.
Georgia Jarman,
Yes.
Ron McMullen,
yes.
Judy Tyler, yes, Judy Walter,
Yes.
Scotty Walker.
Okay, now we're up to our COVID response plan. Oh, no,
Board secretary.
board secretary.
I did just include a copy of your bylaws, just, it doesn't hurt to have a refresher. And I did have that part highlighted in there, just. Thank you to you. You're gonna do us that. Congratulations,
Judy
Judy.
always does a good job.
You know what? Next year, I probably won't nominate the same board officers. Just to let you know, oh no.
Thank you, Judy. Now we're up to the COVID response plan.
Yes, so.
That's very detailed.
It is. Each manager was instructed to discuss with their staff what comfort levels, as far as restrictions, they would be comfortable with each level. Consider their community, consider their physical spaces, and then develop a COVID-19 response plan for their branch or department. It would consist of 5 levels. The first level being essentially kind of wide open, or the new normal, if you will. And then level 5 being closed to the public, with offering curbside and appointments, so like browsing appointments or computer appointments. I want to say this was a huge undertaking for everyone involved. We started with, and we had a very short deadline to get this done. So I want to say everyone rose to the challenge, and they did an amazing job, got it to me. We had 33-page documents, and I was able to condense that down to the 5 pages. So, So one good thing, all branches will remain open, regular hours throughout all of the levels. With the exception of level 5, we will still have staff there and regular hours, but we would be close to the public and just do appointments. So we would still have courier running, all of that, everything would be the same.
So what agency are you taking the percentage of? Are you taking that from the Johnson County?
That's a good question. I've gotten that question a lot. So I'm actually using the COVID hotspots map on the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services. So there's 2 maps on there. Go to that link. It's the second map. So it's not really cut and dried. I thought we were going to be able to do county by county, but I think that's just going to get way too confusing. So I'd like to keep the whole system at one level. And so if you look on those right now, Lafayette should be at level 4, Johnson County at level 3. But because Lafayette is just barely into that percentage for level 4, my recommendation would be to stay at level 3. So, if Lafayette was to jump way up, then we may have to bump everybody up to level. So that would be the only director's call, if you will, as far as just determining that. And I would just kind of average it out to where we should.
Could you repeat again where you're going, what you're going off of?
Yes, so it's the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services. They have a link on there or a button that says COVID hotspot maps. It is the second map on there. And it is broken out by county.
I think it's updated weekly.
It's very often, and I look at it once a week. And then what we would do is stay at each level for a minimum of 2 weeks. That gets kind of our community and our staff, instead of just jumping 1 week to the next. And so if you were to approve the plan, that would make sure that everyone knew what to do at what level. You wouldn't necessarily have to come back to the board, whether we move it up or down levels. It's already there on paper. And then there was one other thing I was going to say.
Excuse me,
Yes.
Lafayette County Health has on their site that you can get a report every day. I think I get it on my phone all the time, and it shows how many cases have been PCR and the other cases, how many a day. And you could get that in an email every day, which would help. And I think probably with the hotspots, we may have to do, Johnson County and Lafayette County, you'd have to make that call of what the people need to do. But I just want to say you did a great job putting all this together, because there's a lot of.
I think so too.
Thank you. And I'll tell you, everybody involved, they did a great job. So thank you.
Have the support of the branch directors.
I do. So all of the branch managers, yep, and the department heads were asked to speak with their staff so that everyone had a voice. So every staff member should have gotten a chance to speak up on what their comfort levels would be as far as mask wearing, programs, things like that.
So if we approve this, how are you going to let the public know what level we're at?
Already are working on that. We have marketing people for that, and I just have to send an email tomorrow, and they will hit the button. We have a press release. We'll have things on our Facebook, on our website. We have a way to do it so that it is linked to each branch, because each branch is going to be different at each level. I won't go into all I don't even understand it myself, but Sarah's on it, is what I'm going to say. So she's already worked on that. We've worked on signage for the branches, for public facing.
You mean you don't have banners, like a yellow banner that goes across the door and or maybe full size,
But we do have a sign that has all of the levels, and she has done Velcro on there so that all the staff have to just change the level out instead of having to do a whole new sign. So yeah.
Good job.
Many people
That's
like to
great.
look at their Facebook pages to see what if the library's open or whatever. I think that Facebook page is a good thing, or, yeah, whatever signage, whatever you need to do with your marketing. But I think everybody looks at Facebook these days. It's pretty popular.
Yes, absolutely.
Appreciate it.
So you have level 2 highlighted, but you say we were level 2.
Well, that will be up to the board. I would prefer to step up to level 2 for 2 weeks. And then if we're still needing to step up to level 3, that we do that. But it is the board's wishes if you want to jump us straight to level 3, where we kind of should be right now. It'll be that decision. Approve the plan, and you just tell me which one you want us to go to. Technically, we should be at level 3 right now.
I'm gonna ask the same question again. How are the branch managers? If they looked at this and they saw that we would be in a 3, are they ready to implement those changes?
Yes, they have all been told, be prepared to either go to level 2 or level 3 if the board approves them. So they are already aware of that.
Mr. President, I move that we accept this plan and leave it to the discretion of our director as to determine the level that we should be at.
I second that.
Right?
Okay.
Okay. We have a motion by Georgia Jarman, a second by Sandy Hinky to adopt the plan.
Fern, that's wonderful. I always wanted to be like Fern.
To adopt the plan and leave the level discretion of the director. Is that correct? Discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Janet Brookshire,
Yes.
Fern Deathridge,
Yes.
Carla Dillon,
Yes.
Sandy Henke,
Yes.
Georgia Jarman,
Yes.
Ron McMullen,
Yes.
Heather, yes. Walter,
Yes.
Patty Walker.
Yes.
Motion passed, 9 yeses and no no.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gives me guidance. Thank you for this good work. I like plans.
So our staff and some asking.
Yeah, so it's pretty much their requirement is based on their branch or their department, but they have the option that they want to mask up every time.
Sure, okay. I didn't know if you, I've signed checks a few times. They come in mask on. Didn't know if it was just that case.
That was probably the courier, and we actually asked the courier driver to start wearing face covering very early on because they simply know it's official. So we had already asked for it. So I'm glad to hear that.
I know that there's nothing on new business. I just have a question that I want to bring to the board because I'm still learning everything. When I was reading through the bylaws and the binder that Jackie put together, there's a section about a Friends of the Library group that could be operated. I'm not aware of an existing Friends of the Library group. Is there one?
A few years ago, the Friends were merged into the foundation.
Merged into the foundation. So there is no separate organization.
Not anymore.
And have there been foundation activities at all?
No, and I don't know how, you're not on the foundation. Yeah. After we merged it, it really hasn't worked as well as, I know we've got complaints from people, particularly in Warrensburg, because Warrensburg had a pretty active Friends group. But all of a sudden, they lost their autonomy. And I think that's probably something we need to revisit. And just because this is a bigger library, that people were upset that they lost the ability to have book sales. And so so long since we've had foundation meeting. I know that it didn't work out as well as. we were
If that's something that, we could maybe put on it as an item of business for a future meeting discussion. It seems like something that would be beneficial to the library system at large, not just Warrensburg. But as a patron of Warrensburg, I'm interested.
And I know several branches did have active Friendsburgs.
Poland was very big.
At one time, Poland was very strong.
Legacy members been very,
Yeah.
and book sales and all that.
So it's not.
I think that's a good idea.
So, and I know it's not on the agenda. I'm trying to follow the rules. I'm still learning. I'm still learning.
It is a lot.
I always wanted, just a personal statement here. I always thought foundation could have been more than just, basically all the foundation is a conduit for people that want to donate money to the library. So we're a 501c3, so they can donate to us, and then the library, or the foundation can build up the library. I always felt like it could have been more of an active group, but with being 2 counties and 8 communities, it's not like the school board now or the school foundation where everybody is. And so I think the Friends were doing that, working the active group.
And I can certainly put that on the agenda for further discussion.
Yeah.
Thanks for answering my question.
Okay, announcements?
So I just have a couple of training opportunities for the board members. So there's a 4-part webinar series titled Effective Library Boards. This is provided by the State Library of Iowa. The first session, problem solving the upstream way, has already been done, but there, I believe, is a recording, and then I gave you the handouts for that in your packet. So if anybody is interested in that, I know Sandy has already asked for me to send the link. So anybody that wants to, I can email you the link and you can register. So is there anybody, you don't have to tell me now, but if you want to later, just send me an email.
Okay.
Yeah, so Georgia and Jana and Carla. Is there anybody else?
Do we need to read the book first?
No.
Is there a book?
Yeah,
There may be.
Upstream.
The bottom of the packet, it's such a long packet. Oh, there it is. I
So
see it.
that's a webinar. So problem solving the upstream way is the first webinar in the series. And then the handouts that I gave you along with that. And I believe the recording is, so when I send you the link to register, you should have access to the link to the recording that they've already done. So you can listen at your own.
Is there a charge for this?
It is not, this is free. And it's on the Missouri State Library's website. Everyone sends this out in their newsletter. I'm gonna put you down. Okay. Awesome. And then, the only other training opportunity is we have a new board member now, so I'll be doing orientation. I had an opportunity for that. Georgia and Carlin sat in whenever I did the orientation. We ended up having to do 2 sessions, but anyway, when I was doing Sandy. So if anybody wants to sit in on that, I'm willing to make it work where we get everybody together. So just let me know, and when I schedule it, I will make sure you are in. Does anybody know right now that they want to do that? Or?
I'm able to do it this,
Excuse me.
I said, I'm not able to do this pretty hard right now.
Okay, well, it'll be a little while, and I can just let you know
Just let me know.
when it's a good time for you, and how to make it work. So I'll put you down.
And let me know too, Jack.
Okay.
Just let me know if it doesn't suit. Like I
Okay.
said, I am going to golf.
Well, we'll try to make it work for everybody. So, is there anybody else at this time? And if you don't know now, you can email me and we can get you. So, but that's it.
Used to do it here in the office, or what?
Yep. come to the office, I will send you materials. A lot of you that are already on the board are familiar with some of those materials, but some of them, I think some of them maybe you're not. I think Carlin and Georgia learned a lot
We
from the
did.
materials. And then I go over kind of the highlights, things to just kind of remember.
It's a great
Section, and
time
then-
to ask questions.
Yes.
That was,
That's exactly what I
That
was.
was helpful.
What we did, I mean,
Okay,
that's what I said.
okay. I'll contact you and we'll try to get together.
So other business occurring, I'll adjourn the meeting. Next meeting is September 15th here. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, you guys.
Are we supposed to keep this mileage?
It should stay in your folder and then I.
The copy last
Oh, I don't know.
Not if you have a copy.
If it's a copy, that should